Hi, I'm Paweł Spychalski and I do not really believe that new is always better. Sometimes, however, it might be. Anyhow, like 2 weeks ago, Foxeer contacted me. Hey Paweł, would you like to take a look at some of our new products that we will be putting on the market? There was a bunch of cameras, bunch of propellers. I have chosen 2 items and today I will show you the first one from the list. Of the 2, those are new Dalprop, because Dalprop is currently, or always was, I'm not really sure, one of the brands of the Foxeer, which probably is also a brand of something. New freestyle exactly 5.1 inch propellers by Dalprop. Before we will go into the Nepal series, let's take a look at what Dalprop is really famous. Exactly of those propellers. Those are Cyclones that appeared on the market like maybe 2 to 3 years ago, and really were back then the propellers everyone was choosing for the freestyle, for the racing, for everything, because they back then were really amazing. Then, however, situation got slightly more problematic. Racers migrated towards those fancy T-motor game fans and others. Freestylers rather migrated towards something like that, like those exactly Ethics S3, which all are made by HQ Prop, and the Cyclone brand and the series of propellers, let's say, lose some of the market interest and are currently not really the propeller of the first choice for probably majority of the users. Now, why? There was a change. We went from big and heavy and with a lot of drag and inertia propellers like this to something lighter, smoother, with less pitch, especially on the freestyle, that allows to have less prop wash, more control, more response, and in general better freestyle response. Now, the Nepal series, I have no idea why this is called Nepal. I never asked for Seer. Maybe it's some kind of a political statement. I really have no idea. The Nepal series are something else. Something else, because they are not straight propellers. Look at those, look at those, look at those. They are very similar to the Azure Power series propellers that are somehow on the market from time to time, but I wanted to get them last year, but they were very hard to get from the European distribution, so I quit, and they look kinda like a boomerang. Yeah, they kinda look like the boomerang. Even my friend asked, hey, why they are called Nepal, not Australia, because they look like a boomerang. What's the idea behind the shape like that? You have 2 choices. Either because it looks nice and nobody knows what it does really, but it somehow works, or better, it has something to do with aerodynamics, which is, to be honest, fluid motion. This is way above my pay grade. This is really not. They say on the back, here or here, no, nowhere in the back, but they say in the web page that there is no prop wash on this propeller. We will check that later, and they give extremely cool freestyle experience, blah 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 blah. We will check that later. I already know, and I will tell you very soon. But let's go back to, let's say, some hard science. The Nepal is it's relatively light propeller. This 5-inch version, which by the way is pitched at 4.35 inches, it's even too light to be checked by my scale, but if I put 2, I don't think. Anyhow, according to the specification, it should be around 3.5 grams, which is correct. 2 weighs 7, so this is fine. If I will put the previous Cyclones, they weighed 5, so a lot more. If I put the H3 Biden, this one is 4. Or if I put the Gemfan Wind Dancer, which by the way I'm not the biggest fan of, then once again we have 4 grams, or the old Dalprop Cyclone 5040C, once again around 3. So relatively light propellers, and because of relative lightness and relative low pitch, because like I said, this is rated at around 4.3 inches only, this gives, in theory, this should give this propeller a very nice, sharp and rapid response. It's light enough that even on a not so very powerful motors, it can accelerate and decelerate fast enough to give a lot of control during the flight, during the freestyle, and to be honest, not always during the freestyle, because I did some maneuvers on the more racing approach and it was not that bad. Let's not, however, go forward. This propellers also have something that's it's appearing on the props from time to time. This is so-called the pop mount, started by the Lumineer. You see here we have a bevel, and here we have 3 notches for the ball lock, that you do not have to undo the nut to remove the propeller, which in theory is super. I'm honestly not so sure about it, but this is only me, and we are not really reviewing the Nepal N1 propeller. No, we are not reviewing the Popo, we are only reviewing the Nepal N1 props. Now, what now? The shape is the shape, looks cool, but who gives a crap about the shape if they behave crappy in the air? So now let's watch some footage from me flying this thing over the last 2 weekends, putting something to the test, doing some doing some proximity freestyling, some power loops, and then we will go into the conclusions. Let's roll the tape. So, what's the conclusion? The conclusion is that I love them Nepals. Really, I think they are great freestyle propellers. No idea if this is because of this bended shape, maybe there is really something in it, or the lightweight, or they just did the aerodynamics and fluid dynamics correctly in this case, but I really do like those propellers very, very much. They suit my flying style. I always felt that the Ethics S3 I was using where they kinda lacked the thrust at the high throttle, and it was like, yeah, okay, I would like to have much more control and trust on some of the elements of the flight, but I'm pretty sure this suits the Mr. Steele's flying style just fine. Not mine. Okay, let's continue. With the Nepals, the thrust, more or less, it's always there. During the power loops, it was very simple to really go far without me worrying that instead of going back, I'm going up. A lot of control during the yaw, a lot of control during all the maneuvers or the proximity, very precise propellers. Really, probably you saw, at least you watched, the short sentence with me navigating through the trees in the small forest. On every other propellers I was using, I really had problems doing that. With the Nepals, the control was just always there, very precise propellers, and it's not like they say in the marketing materials that there is no prop wash. No, this is not working like that. There is prop wash. Every propeller has a prop wash because prop wash is just how the propeller works through the stored air. But really, apparently the prop wash on the Nepal N1 is very gentle. Comparing to every other propellers I was using before, it's almost like it's not there. I did not have to retune my quad completely when migrating from the S3 to Nepal. I did have to lower the P gain slightly, but only slightly, because I felt that this is required. But really, the prop wash was very, very easy to tune just by dropping P slightly and slightly raising the gains, and the prop wash was more or less not gone, but lowered to the level when even my colleague that was watching my FPV feed says, oh, there's no prop wash on this drone. It's not right, actually. There's no prop wash, but really the prop wash was very gentle. Like I said, very nice yaw control, very rapid, very precise, smooth, still relatively smooth, maybe not as smooth as lower pitched S3, but with the good camera and the stabilization, it's not really that important. And what really surprised me and struck me a lot is that how tough those propellers are. Really, I had no idea what kind of polycarbonate they exactly use. They say it's some kind of German Bayer. By the way, Bayer is the company inside in Germany that does a lot of things, including they were the ones that made the aspirin originally. Nevertheless, really this polycarbonate is extremely tough. The one set, I used so far only one set of the few the Foxier sent me. I was crashing into the trees, into the grass, doing really like not hitting all the gates all the time. And at least for a few times, oh yeah, I will have to replace the propeller. The propellers, even after the beating, really look great. Yeah, you see that there are scratched here and there, but besides that, they almost look like the brand new propellers. Really, really, really impressive. And it was cold outside. Usually propellers get brittle when it's cold. For example, the Dal 7056 are getting extremely brittle when it's cold outside. With those, Nepal, no problem. Really, no problem at all. So, bottom line. I love Nepals. I really love Nepals. I really love those propellers. I'm happy that the Foxier sent me, I think, 6 or 8 sets of the propellers, and considering how tough they appear to be, that will probably suit my need for the 5-inch propellers for this year. And if and when I will finally break all my Nepal N1s, I will probably get me more, because really great props for this slightly more energetic freestyle. I enjoy flying. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I do enjoy flying this. And yeah, great props. Really, really, really great props. I can really say that, yeah, good job Foxure, good job Dalprop, you made a great freestyle propeller. Some people might not agree, but it's only a review, and every single review is really subjective. That's all for today. Until the next one. Bye bye.